Hello again, this is still Business Live with me, Beverly Broom. We take a look at some other stories now. Ghana is ranked first in sub-Saharan Africa with the largest electricity access rates. That's according to the World Bank's April 2023 Africa Pulse report. The nation recorded about 81% access to electricity rate in 2021. The following report has more.
Ghana beats African powerhouses such as South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria. In 2015, the country's access to electricity in Africa stood at about 75%. That still placed it number one on the continent. So between 2015 and 2021, the country added a little over 5% power to the electricity access rate. The World Bank's African Pulse report pointed out that the COVID-19 pandemic has had a sharp adverse effect on access to electricity, other than the pandemic eroded gains made in the preceding 5 years. In several countries, it said the number of people without access to electricity grew rapidly between 2020 and 2021, despite progress made prior to the pandemic. However, in Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire, the numbers were stable or reduced. Meanwhile, Cote d'Ivoire and Kenya were ranked second and third respectively in sub-Saharan Africa with the biggest electricity access rate.
Meanwhile, the energy strategist Dr. Isif Suleimana has described the feeds as commendable, but advises stakeholders to continue to put in measures for its sustainability. He spoke earlier on Marketplace.
Indeed, that is refreshing to hear, especially if you look at the global context where we are coming from. I mean, chalking this milestone is something that we should commend ourselves. We only need to make sure that whatever help us to, come to this far, I mean, we should be able to maintain that or sustain that. What is the global perspective here that I think Ghana is doing well? I mean, if you look at globally, this particular thing sits into what we call the SDG 7, that is the Sustainable Development Goal 7, where it is stipulated that we need to have access to electricity and clean energy, clean sources of energy. Now, globally, as we speak now, we still have about 0.8 billion, specifically 770 million, having zero access to electricity at all as we speak now. So, and that's a global figure. And out of this figure, about 85% is coming from African continent. And so if we look at the fact that from 2010 up to now, that there has been some sustained growth in this particular margin globally. And so if you look, but the growth hasn't been that massive. In fact, its annual basis is less than 1% on annual basis. So yes, for Ghana to still maintain this important place in Africa, I mean, in the sub-Saharan Africa, I think is something we have to commend ourselves. And I think some policies might have worked to our favor, because there are two things that actually will help, in every nation to succeed in terms of power penetration, access to finance, and then prudent policies. And I think probably Ghana has done well in these areas. Yes, affordability is key, and in fact, that is also key to penetration. If energy is available and it's not affordable, it will still impact the penetration rate. So in this triangle that I talked about, energy has to be accessible, affordable, and then dependable. If these three things meet, and I think a country will then have complete energy security. But as we speak now, I think Ghana is not all that competitive in terms of per kilowatt hour the end user pays. Albeit, we've still been able to achieve this penetration. And it also means that if we're able to do our homework well and improve in all the value streams, the three key value stream areas where we can improve, I think we can even do better in terms of our penetration rate.